Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Morgan, and here we do all things spooky. We tell stories, we talk about scary movies like we're doing today, and we do all kinds of stuff. If that sounds cool, I would love to have you. Down below, you will find my other social medias and where to send in your scary stories if you're interested. I will also put where to stream these if they are streamable. They did all come out this year, so it's a little bit tricky, but if they are streamable, I will let you know. But anyways, today we are going to be talking about the goriest films that 2024 has brought us. Now, keep in mind, I am filming this at I think this is November 30th, so it's the last day of November when I'm filming this. I haven't watched anything in December yet, obviously, so I'm looking for Nosferatu to also need to be included in this from the way the director was talking about it. But as of right now, the goriest one so far. So I'm going to start off this with a movie that should be no surprise to anyone because of the franchise, and that is Terrifier 3. Terrifier 3 follows Art the Clown 5 years after Terrifier 2, where he has returned to terrorize these siblings that don't deserve it, okay? Just when they're calming down and they think everything's fine, Sienna's getting mental help, he comes back in and just wrecks it and their whole family dynamic that they've now built. I don't understand. But the Terrifier franchise is known for being over the top with gore and blood and guts, so it was no surprise that that movie was going to be on this list, so I thought I'd talk about it first, because we all know. Now, the second movie on this list actually came from the same team that brought us Terrifier, but it's not part of that franchise, and that is the film Stream. Now, Stream is all about a demented game show that is taking place at this hotel. So this family checks in, tries to reconnect, and unknowingly just signed away their lives. David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, is in this. He's incredible in it, and the gore in this is great. I love the storyline. All of the actors were phenomenal. It was a really fun concept. It wasn't a hard watch, you didn't have to sit down and give energy to it like psychological movies, and I think that's why I love gory movies so much, because I don't need to give parts of myself to watch it. Does that make sense? The next movie on this list is actually a surprise to me because I didn't even want to go see this one. I'm not even gonna lie. It's Smile 2. Didn't like the first one, but whenever this came out, I kept hearing people talk about how good it was, how it was the scariest movie of the year. And listen, I know every movie this year has been the scariest movie of the year, but you can't say that to me and I not go watch it. It will work every time. So I went, and I'm so glad I did. This was one that needed to be seen for the first time in a theater setting, preferably with other people in that theater, because getting scared with other people is just what makes the world go round. But anyway, Smile 2 follows the same virus entity thing that's in Smile 1, but it's now attached to a pop star. So we're seeing someone in the public light deal with this and try to beat it and do her own tricks, that they all do to try to overcome it. It was a wild ride, and it was quite jump scary, I'm not gonna lie, but the gore, top notch. Terrifier is my favorite franchise, so obviously Terrifier 3 is going to be my favorite movie of the year. I'm biased, I will admit it. But if it wasn't for Terrifier 3, the next movie on this list would be my favorite of the year, and that is the film The Substance. Now, The Substance follows an actress who's aging like we all do. She loses her job because she's aging, because you can't do that as a woman, and she's leaving, she's upset, she's leaving her job. She gets in a car accident. When she's at the hospital, this young doctor puts a USB in her jacket titled The Substance. She goes home, puts it in, watches it, and sees an ad for this drug that promises to create a new, better version of you. Hotter, healthier, younger, all that stuff. So she does it, and a new her is born from her back. It's not an analogy. From her back. The body horror in this was some of the best that I have ever seen. I loved this movie. I loved the message behind it, the reminder to be kind to yourself now, because if you're not kind to your body now, you're taking away from older you who deserves much more respect. I loved it. Next up on this list is In a Violent Nature, and I don't know why I didn't go into this expecting top-notch gore, because the name violent is literally in the title. But I didn't. I heard that it was from the perspective of a serial killer, and I was like, okay, I don't think it'll be that gory. It was gory. It was that gory. This was such a brilliant concept for a movie. It feels like you're playing a video game that you have no control over. But anyways, we follow the serial killer who rises from the dead when something precious to him was stolen, and he will not stop until he gets it back and punishes everyone that he deems responsible. 10 out of 10. And finally on this list will not be a surprise if you are familiar with the franchise, and that is The Strangers Chapter 1. Now, The Strangers Chapter 1 I don't think was necessary. I don't think the first one needed a redo, and I don't think they did anything better. I did enjoy the movie. I'm excited to see where they go because this is supposed to be a trilogy. I'm kind of concerned with the direction they're going because, okay, little rant time about The Strangers because I'm already here. The thing about those films that make it so scary is that it is strangers doing it with no motive. And the way that it's going in this franchise, it kind of looks like the whole town's in on something. And I don't want that. I want it to be a wrong place, wrong time scenario because that is how most of it happens. That's what made it real, and that's what made it terrifying. But I feel like they're gonna make it this elaborate, in-depth thing, and that's not what The Strangers is. I mean, you can do that with another franchise, but don't do it with The Strangers because that's what made it unique. But anyways, this film followed a couple road tripping that go off of the beaten path to a diner to have lunch. Their car suddenly starts having trouble at this diner, and they get told that the mechanic will not be back for a few days, but they just happen to have this empty cabin. It's normally rented out for an Airbnb. It's an old hunting cabin, but it just so happens to be free, and you're welcome to it, the townspeople say. So this couple goes in there, and what do you know? A little while later, they get a knock on their door. Is Tamara home? No, she's not, okay? This couple goes through hell this night, absolute hell, which is what we expected knowing this franchise. But the gore in it was great, even though I do have my reservations about where this trilogy is going to go. I'll still watch it regardless, but anyways, that is all for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me.